Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, on that you can quote me, in FLC.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the FLC Hangout, where your freedom lifestyle begins. Today I am so excited. Are you excited, Misty? I'm excited.
You have no idea.
Right? We have
Yeah.
such a good topic, like such a valuable, not only fun to talk about, well, I think so anyway, but also really valuable in this. I know it isn't the first time we've talked about it, like us or as a team. But the more I am on this topic and the more we talk about this, the more I learn and the more motivated I get. So if you want to be motivated, if you want to learn how to master where you are right now, keep watching. And we are going to be talking about professional versus amateur. What does it mean to be a professional? What does it mean to be an amateur? And obviously, if you're going into something that you want to make a career and you want to make like a living off, you want to be a professional, right? And maybe you don't actually know what it means to do that, and maybe you're still operating at an amateur level. This is why we're here. This is where you're going to learn how to become a professional so you can master your art. So Misty, what does it mean to you to be a professional?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you asked that because, to be honest, I was kind of, I always thought just because you're really good at something, you're a professional at it, right? That's what I thought. Well, the more we learn and the more we are getting into our training and diving into all this stuff and growing, the more I learned that no. The difference between a professional and an amateur is income. Are you being paid? Are you being paid at what you're doing? Because, like Grant Cardone says, you can like photography. You can like playing with cameras and taking pictures and going out and do that. But if you're doing it for a pastime and you're not being paid for it, you're an amateur. You're not a professional. So if you're a professional at something, you are somebody who is being paid for your product or your services. And that to me was new. So I don't know what you think about that, but to me, that was something new that I learned. And then another thing he said was that it doesn't matter how long you've been in your job or doing your business or providing your services. It doesn't matter. If you are not learning and changing to grow and become better, then you're still, you're a professional, but you're a level one professional. You need to be changing and growing. And to know that there's different levels of professionalism was mind-blowing for me. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I also had it in my mind that it's like, if you've been doing something for a long time, it makes you a professional because you know about it, but it really doesn't. Like a professional, not only are you have to get paid, like you said, that is important, because if you're not getting paid, it's a hobby, right? So yeah. And then you need to know your art. So for example, I'm going to use sales because that's what we do. You need to know sales in and out. You need to be able to flow about it when you're talking to someone, but this is coming from Grant Cardone himself as well, be able to know exactly what they're going to say before they said it, what you're going to say before they've even said what they're going to say, and just
all the mechanics.
Level. Yeah, it's this level of knowing that's like a different to, like, you know how to do certain things, you know how to make a certain dish, a recipe, but you're still an amateur. You still have to look at the instructions, ingredients. But like that grandma that's like has her special dish that she just does, like doesn't even think about it, that's a professional. if she's getting paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that difference of how well do you know your art, and are you still growing and leveling up? You can be a professional and like crumble into an amateur because things change and you're not changing with the times, right? So I really like that. And what I think is really important is that you want to have the need. No, you need to have the want. I said it the wrong way around. You need to have the want to become a professional in your chosen area, right? Without that, you're never going to be able to get there.
Yeah. I liked what he said about you things you do already, because people don't like to sell, right? They're like, that's not for me. I don't want to sell. I'm not selling. I'm not a salesperson. Well, guess what? You're selling every day. You're selling an idea. You're selling an idea, a thought and an idea are basically the same thing, but that, you know what I mean? You're like, I don't want to do this. This is not selling is not for me. Well, guess what? You're selling me on why it's not for you.
Yeah.
The only difference between making you a professional salesperson and an amateur is the income. And if you want to get rich, you have to be paid for doing that, right? Because you can't get rich without an income.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if Grant Cardone says become a professional, because most people don't like sales, right? They just always say it's not for me, but they're not really a professional, and they don't want to train and become a professional. So they remain amateurs. You need to be willing to train and change and grow in order to become a professional. And like he said, I want him to go more in detail on like the different levels of being a professional, because he talks about going from being a professional to becoming a master. Well, I mean, I don't want to say how long or how much training do you have to do to become a master. I think you probably have to continue training and doing that for the rest of your life. But the fact that there are different levels is something that's interesting to me. So, and then the fact that people aren't willing to, they're like, well, sales isn't for me. I'm not a salesperson, but it's because they're not willing to change. They're not ready for that. They're not at that point. So that was kind of a little bit of an eye opener for me. It's like, okay, that's why, because we have a lot of people, in our industry, we have a lot of people that are like, I don't want to be out in front. I don't want to be visible. I just want to be in the background. I don't want to, I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to make the cold calls. And it's because it's out of their comfort zone. They're not willing to grow and change to become that. But doing that and then getting paid for it is a game changer. And that's where that professionalism comes in, and you can stop being the amateur.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. And what you said before made me think, and I know this is getting a little bit more into the sell or be sold area, but it's your ability, and this is what Grant Cardone says, your ability to do well in life is solely based on your ability to be able to sell. And he doesn't just mean selling a product, selling a car, selling insurance, whatever. You need to sell everyone every day on your ideas. It might be your product, anything. You're selling all the time. You convince someone to go to this restaurant you wanted to, that's selling. You convince someone to change their mind about this certain view, that's selling. So your ability to be able to do well in life is based on your ability. How good are you at selling, convincing, persuading? And often people, when we say selling, they kind of retreat, and it's like, oh, like selling, oh
yeah, that's not me. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm not a salesperson. Like, no.
Yeah.
But that's because people have such a construed idea of what selling is. You say selling, and most people are going to think of that, the fast talking, like manipulative, like smooth talker that will talk you into spending thousands. That's not selling. Like these are crooks, they're con men, they have tricks and all these ways. selling as a professional means that you are helping people understand your idea, why you're right, and why they should do things that you are trying to talk them into doing in a professional way. That also, I think, is the difference between professional and amateur. Amateur will try and use these tricks and these mind games and the psychology of humans to trick people into buying. A professional knows exactly what they're talking about and knows how to get people on their level in a good way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I think it's a part of being a professional is being honest, authentic, open, open to allowing people see that you are an honest, real person, as opposed to trying to be somebody slimy and just trying to cover up like, oh yeah, we do this and we do that. And then in reality, you don't, you don't want to lie to people. But Grant Cardone says that, being a professional is not just who you are, your personality, the clothes you wear, what you drive. It's much more than that. It's the training, it's the growth and the being paid for it and being able to give a service to somebody who is of high quality, the service that is of high quality. So that's professionalism. And then you're getting paid, to do that service or give that product. And I think that's amazing. That's yay.
Yeah, no, is that you're literally a salesperson is being paid for helping people. If you're doing it right, you're being paid for helping people. And I know we're talking a lot about being paid as a professional, and especially in sales, because like we said, whatever you are doing, you are in sales. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but if that offends you or is like you don't like that, it means you have a construed image of what sales is. But no matter what you sell, where you work, you are in sales, you are a salesperson. You just might be an amateur right now instead of a professional, but we're talking about getting paid, right? And I know that most salespeople are on commission. And I really like what Grant was talking about with commission is actually, it's seen as really unsafe, unstable, unreliable, but actually it's the opposite. As long as you really get good at your craft, you know what to do, you're a professional, like we're talking about, then a commission means that you aren't limited. Your payout will directly reflect your level of work. You don't want to put much effort in, okay, you won't get much in return. You want to put loads of effort, 10x effort, like he says, 10x rule, then you'll get 10x this. So it really, commission allows you to have no cap on your potential, which actually is probably the most reliable way to build your success, because you're going to get better. Whether you're in a job at a set salary, you're going to get better, but your pay's not going to change. But with the commission and the sales cycle, the better you get, the more you're right. So I feel like
second sales come in.
Exactly. I feel like that really needs to be said too, because a lot of people, that's where they kind of back away from sales too. But it really, once you're good at it, like you'll see it different.
Yeah, because like he said, that like you're saying, once you're good at it and you're training and you're doing the things necessary to grow and get better at your craft and become a better your craft and become more professional, your income's going to go up. And not only is that going to come from the first sale from a product or service, but then those people who have purchased from you are more likely to come back and spend more money with you. So that's where the second sale comes in. And that's where more of that stability comes in from getting commissions. Because once you're building that relationship with those clients, that is priceless. Because what it is you're building a trust and a relationship with these clients. And they're more likely to go back to somebody they know and they trust and who has given them good service in the past than say, hey, I'm going to go to this other person and just kind of roll the dice and see what I get. You know what I mean? So you're more likely to get that stability from that. And what I liked was he said, you have to give up where you are at in order to get where you want to go, right? So
Yes.
yes, I love that. Because I always think, every time I think Grant Cardone, I always think, never give up, never quit. Never quit, never give up, right? And this was the first time that I heard him say, give up this, give up that. So give up the idea of what's not, give up the things that are not serving you, not give up on yourself, give up on the things that are no longer serving you and that are no longer making you grow and become better at your craft or what you're doing. I thought that was huge for me.
Yeah, me
There
too.
are 2 points I want to bring up before we continue. He says selling is critical to your survival. So, you know, again, that comes back to, are you going to be a professional or is it going to be a pastime and you're only an amateur? Because if you think about it, we are selling on a daily basis. We've been selling since the day we were born. We have, as an amateur. Now, if we can monetize that, that would be amazing. And there is a way to monetize when you look at it, right? You become better at your, yeah, you can come up with a product or a service, you put a price on that and you can get better and better at that and sell that. That's where you become a professional. And then you need to, his second point was, you need to get your spouse or your kids to understand selling is survival. So they have to be on the same page with you. I love the fact that he always has his like weekly meetings with his wife and kids. Always, whether it be about the finances, he has them pay the bills. He gives them he has the money and, here's the money. But he has them sit down and they actually figure out the budget and then pay the bills. So he's giving them so many life lessons in a young age that's invaluable. That's so amazing to him. So when they are older, they can become, not only are they, when they start monetizing whatever they're going to do, I think they're already making money. I think they've already started their businesses. So they're already professionals, but they're going to become even better and become masters at some point, probably before they're in their 20s. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love the fact that he gets, hey, you have to have your family, your husband, your spouse, your kids, they all have to be on the same page to understand this is survival.
Yeah. And by the way, that's selling. Getting people on the same page as you is selling. And I love what you said about, we've been selling since like day one, because I thought about it. If someone came to me and asked, who is the best salesperson in the world? First, I'd say Grant Cardone, probably. If someone asked who's the second best, I would say children. Like children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you start thinking about it like this, you can't unsee it. Like sales is everywhere. If you have children or you've seen children, they do not stop until they get what they want, right? They will tear the place down. I'm not saying tear the place down, but I'm
like
saying
physically,
they know what they want, and they see no other option than getting what they want. And that's the same mindset you need to have. And it's not as in, and that doesn't make you like a pushy person. You just need to be so sold on your idea, your product, yourself, that there is no other option for other people than to agree with you and to like buy from you. So I feel like you just need to first understand that sales is everywhere, and then understand that it is critical to your survival, like you said. And the better you get at it, the more you're going to get your way in life. And really, that is the number one way to improve your life. Not only selling your product, but also just selling yourself wherever you are. Friends, family, jobs, people, clients. You get it in your head, and this sounds really harsh, get it in your head, but get it in your head that you need to be good at sales. And then that's step one, and then become good at sales. Do your training.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because Grant Cardone says, and we keep referring to Grant Cardone because, you know, we're training with him and his company, and when you have something that's so good and makes sense, even it's hard to take what that person says when they've said it the perfect way and change it sometimes. So we always refer back to it's Grant Cardone,
Yeah.
and he says, um, it's up to you to become a professional. You know,
Yeah.
your hopes and your dreams, it's all depending on you. And I've said before, nobody's going to knock at my door and say, here's your hopes and dreams. Here's all your goals accomplished. Here you go. You know, you're wealthy now. You can go and live happily ever after. That's not going to happen. You have to, you know, it's up to you. You have to be willing to grow, to release what's not serving you and say, okay, you know what? I've been in this industry or I've been doing my job for this many years. I'm kind of doing okay. I think I'm doing really good, but is there room for growth? Can I do more? Can I grow and change and become better? Yes, absolutely. I don't think there's any point ever that you should stop growing and changing and learning. So,
You know, I
and then
find,
go ahead.
sorry, I just remembered our coach, so our Cardone coach, David Bradley, who's shout out David Bradley. But he, yeah, we had a meeting with him weekly like we do last Thursday, and he said that Grant Cardone just tweeted like the day before, someday I'll make it. And that makes me,
Yeah,
it makes me laugh because like you're Grant Cardone and you're tweeting someday I'll make it, but just shows you even these people, they're not done growing just because he's highly successful in my eyes. Maybe he knows that he can do more, and he doesn't feel satisfied until he reaches his full potential. But it's just funny that like Grant Cardone is saying someday I'll make it.
yeah, that is funny. And I think that it's funny that I think he's even said once that I don't think I'll ever reach my full potential in my lifetime, you know, because it's
Yeah.
like you're always changing and moving. So I want to, because we need to get wrapping up here. I want to leave it on this. So before I say this, I want you to, if you have anything else to say, and then I will say this, and then we'll get wrapping up.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, I think the main point I want to get across, if anyone's watching, or is that selling isn't something to be scared of. And I know we kind of went into the rabbit hole of selling, talking about professional and amateur, but that's really because number one, that's what we do. That's what we're in. And number two, everyone sells. Like no matter who you are, there's one common thing on this planet that we all have to be able to sell. And the only difference, the only thing stopping you from being an amateur to becoming a professional is being dedicated to mastering your art, mastering the art of selling, or mastering the art of doing whatever you are doing in your specific industry for your clients. That, and then getting paid from it, obviously. It's money isn't everything. It's not all about money, but like that's what determines professional, amateur, professional. So just become dedicated to becoming the best you can, master your craft, and then that's before you know it, and it doesn't take a long time, you'll be a professional. And just before you say your thing, which I'm really excited to hear, I want to play a quick game with you. Can I do that?
Okay, let's go.
I have the 10x rule here by Grant Cardone,
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm going to flip through, and I want you to say stop on a page. Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
Ready? Stop.
Okay. And then 1 or 2.
Let's go 2.
Okay. Say stop again. Wait.
Stop.
Okay. I'm going to read. Where does the sentence start? Every successful person I know has used fear as an indicator to determine which actions will provide the greatest return. I use it in my own life every chance I get to remain aware that I'm growing and expanding myself. If you aren't experiencing fear, you aren't taking new actions and growing.
I love that. I've got to get that book.
Yeah, you do. I'm on chapter
do.
4 now.
Yeah. Oh my God. So what I wanted to say was if you're not getting your way, quit making excuses. Quit making excuses. If you think, Grant Cardone says the best way to know whether or not you're an amateur or a professional is, are you getting paid for what you're doing? If you're doing something just for pastime and you're not getting an income from it, you're an amateur. If you're getting paid for it, you're a professional. There are different levels of professionalism. You need to find out where you're at. You should know whether you're a professional or an amateur, and master your craft. Learn, grow, change. Be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Like Grant Cardone says in the book, use your fear and keep going, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks guys so much for tuning in today to today's episode of the FLC Hangout. We hope you found the discussion informative and engaging. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to our channel and leave us a comment with your thoughts and suggestions for future topics. We value your feedback and would love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends and family who might find it helpful. We want to be sure to get this channel out there to help as many people as possible to reach their freedom lifestyle. We'll be back with another episode on Sunday, so stay tuned, keep learning. And from all of us here at the FLC, welcome to the family, where once your family for life. See you guys next week.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.